Hi folks, welcome for another Van Man at Home video. That's right, I'm back at home again. Not going to be back in the van for a week, so what else is there to do but make some videos. I guess it's quite good in some way. I get to make some videos that I wouldn't normally make. One thing I want to start with, Sunday final is coming home, watch it, England, Italy. Secondly, I've been having problems with comments on my videos. I put comments on and they just disappear into the YouTube sphere. I always try my best to reply to every single comment that I get. But sometimes I think what it is YouTube thinks that I'm spamming. If you go on a video and you spam comment, it thinks you're just spamming it and it will stop. Even if it's your own videos, you think they put something in. If it's your own video and you're commenting on every comment, you think they put something in to stop that, but no. So if you've left a comment and I've liked it and I've hearted it, I have put a reply, but for some reason it hasn't uploaded. I don't know. But yeah, so stuck indoors for a week, so I suppose it gives me a chance to do some videos I wouldn't normally be able to do in the van. So today I'm going to look at the political compass. I thought it might be quite fun to do the questionnaire sheet, fill it all out, see where I end up. Let's have a look. Okay, so here we go, the political compass test. So those of you that aren't familiar with this, I'll just show you. It basically goes off this political scale and you have to answer a certain amount of questions and it finds where you lie on the political scale. Now most of us will sort of land in this region here, left, right, libertarian, authoritarian, but your extremes are basically, so authoritarian right up here, you've got, fascist, Adolf Hitler sort of thing. Authoritarian left would be Stalin, communism. Down here would be your Margaret Thatchers and stuff like that. I don't know an example of a libertarian left. I don't really know what libertarian left is really. So economic wise, your far left is very large government and basically government control and very high taxes, and then your economic right is limited government with small taxes. On the libertarian authoritarian, so yeah, again, big government with big influence on people's lives, and then libertarian right down the bottom with very limited government that won't interfere with your lives. So let's have a look. So there's going to be a number of questions here to take, and let's just dive in. Should be a bit of fun, see where I land up. If economic globalization is inevitable, it should primarily serve humanity rather than the interests of transnational corporations. Well, strongly agree, I guess. Is many people not going to agree with that? I mean, we want to serve humanity, really, than corporations, don't we? Anyway, I'd always support my country, whether it was right or wrong. Strongly disagree. I don't need to explain that. No one chooses their country of birth, so it's foolish to be proud of it. No, I mean, if you've got a country that is worth being proud of course be proud of it. So no one chooses their country of birth, so it's foolish to be proud of it. So strongly disagree. Sorry, some of these questions have you have to think about which which answer to give. Our race has many superior qualities compared with other races. Okay, strongly disagree. Okay. The enemy of my enemy is my friend. Well, no, really. I mean, that doesn't really work. I mean, if you think in countries, I'm sure Iran's enemy is North Korea, the same as ours, but their regime's not really that great. So no, I'm not going to agree with that. Strongly disagree. Military action that defies international law is sometimes justified. It's such an open question, this, isn't it? I mean, some circumstance. I mean, maybe an alien invasion is not going to be sanctioned by international. There's going to be some really weird circumstances. But I guess generally, international law needs to be followed, I guess. But like I say, there's going to be some really bizarre circumstances, isn't there? Military action that defies international law is sometimes justified. Just slightly disagree then, I guess. Yeah. Maybe someone can give me an example of when it's been justified to not follow international law. There is now a worrying fusion of information and entertainment. Strongly agree with that, yeah. in the day and age of internet, social media and everything, who knows what's right and what's wrong, so yeah. Next. People are ultimately divided more by class than their nationality. Yeah, I guess so. I think class is the main. I mean, it depends what you mean by class, really. I mean, when I think of class, I just think of money. So I think people are ultimately divided by money, really, more than anything else. So yeah, strongly agree with that. Controlling inflation is more important than controlling unemployment. Well, it's such a difficult question because they kind of go hand in hand, don't they? So basically, you're saying, do you want to be unemployed or do you want things to be very, very expensive? Um, I don't know. There's no right or wrong answer there. I could quite happily go disagree or agree. I guess unemployment's got to be the worst out of. So yeah, disagree. This is a weird question, really. I can't answer that. Because corporations cannot be trusted to voluntarily protect the environment, they require regulation. Yeah, I strongly agree with that. Coca-Cola don't give a shit about the planet. They need regulation to stop polluting it. From each according to his ability to each according to his need is a fundamental good idea. I don't really understand that. Am I being thick? From each according to his ability to each according to his need. Is that some sort of like survival of the fittest thing or something? If you're strong enough to take it, I don't know. I might be. I don't really fully understand that. I think it's one of those. From each according to his ability to each according to his need. So if you've got the ability. Yeah, no, I still, maybe someone in the comments can can tell me what that means. I'm guessing it's some sort of survival of the fittest thing, so I'll disagree with that slightly. But I might be wrong. I might be misreading the question. The freer the market, the freer the people. Yeah, no, not really. I mean, in some instance, yeah, the freer the market, anyone's free to set up a business or do what they want to do, then in general, I guess they're freer. But then the people that are being at the bottom of the scale, that are working terrible jobs and being taken advantage of, they're not very free as well at the same point. So it's kind of a hard question, really. It's one of those ones where I can go agree or disagree at the same time. Freer the market, the freer the people. I'll disagree with that because agree. Because if the market is completely and utterly regulated, you will start getting slave labour. So yeah, I'll disagree with that. It's a sad reflection on our society that something as basic as drinking water is now a bottle-branded consumer product. No, I wouldn't say that. I mean, someone's got to work to get that water and bottle that water, so they need to be paid for it. I mean, yeah, if you want to go down to the streams, if you've got a local mountain and get your own water, fair bit. But if you want someone else to do it for you, then you need to pay for it. So, right, so it's a sad reflection. No, it's not a sad reflection. So I strongly disagree with that. Land shouldn't be a commodity to be bought and sold. That's a tough question because no, land is land. And, if we lived in some sort of society like the Native Americans or something that couldn't really handle the concept of someone wanting to come over and buy land, then I'd agree. But in the current modern society that we live in, if you don't buy your land, I mean, when they say land, we're talking, your house and stuff like that, then someone stronger than you is just going to come along, barge through and say, oh, this is my land now. So no, in the modern society that we live in, land shouldn't be a commodity to be bought and sold. It should be a commodity. So it's these double negatives. I've got to think about the question before I answer. Land shouldn't be. Okay, so it shouldn't be, so I strongly disagree. It is regrettable that many personal fortunes are made by people who simply manipulate money and contribute nothing to the society. Well, yeah, that is regrettable. Strongly agree. Protectionism is sometimes necessary in trade. So trade, I've got something to trade, so I'm protecting it. Um, I don't fully understand that. All I can take from that is if I've got something that's valuable that I want to protect to trade, then I'm going to protect it. So I guess I strongly agree. I don't know. I don't fully understand that one. The only social responsibility of a company should be to deliver profits to its shareholders. Well, we don't live in a perfect world, do we? I mean, no, they should have responsibilities for their staff, for their customers, for the environment. So the only social responsibility, so I strongly disagree with that. The rich are too highly taxed. Well, when about, what's that crazy stat? I'm going to get it wrong, but when about 20 of the richest people in America own the same amount as the rest of them. No, what's that stat? I'm messing it up. I think it's better in percentage, isn't it? Like the 1% richest in America owns the same amount of money as the other 99%. So no, I don't think the rich are too highly taxed. The rich are too highly taxed. Strongly disagree. Those with the ability to pay should have access to higher standards of Medicare. That's an interesting wording of that question there, because I believe that all people have a right to healthcare, but I guess I don't have a problem with people that have got more money wanting to pay. But it's the high standards part, isn't it? I mean, everyone should have the same high standards of medical care. Those with the ability to pay should have access to a higher standard. So it's talking about standards here. So everyone should have access to medical care, but it's whether people with money should have a higher standard available. I don't know. I guess disagree. I mean, I think everyone should have just. I guess give an example. Someone rich has a child come down with leukemia. Because they have the money, do they get to have better care for their daughter with leukemia than a poor family? No, they shouldn't. So I disagree with that. So those with the ability to pay should have access. No, disagree. Strongly disagree. Disagree. I don't know. I had to think about it, so I'll just go disagree. Government should penalise business that mislead the public. Yeah, of course. Strongly agree. No brainer. A genuine free market requires restrictions on the ability of predator multinationals to create monopolies. Okay, a genuinely free market requires restrictions, so there should be restrictions in place for monopolies. Yeah, I agree with that. Strongly agree. Next. Abortion. Oh, okay, we know where we're going. When the woman's life is not threatened, should always be illegal. Okay, so they're saying it should always be illegal. So I strongly disagree with that. It should. When the life abortion when the woman's life is not threatened should always be illegal. Okay, right, yeah, strongly disagree. Women should be free to have abortions if they want abortions. All authority should be questioned. Yes. I mean, when experts in their field should be respected, but yeah, all authority should be questioned. I mean, if you want to take the vaccine, for instance, at the moment, overwhelmingly all scientists are saying that it's perfectly safe, and all the reports is out there, but you can't say that you can't question things. It has to be questioned. So all authority should be questioned. Yes, I strongly agree. An eye for an eye, a tooth for a tooth. Right, that's basically saying like the death penalty, really, isn't it? If someone kills someone, then they should be killed. But that goes for, I mean, everything, right? So I mean, how far do you take that? If someone rapes, should they be raped? I mean, it's a bit of a weird one, that one, isn't it? I think I'll have to go for strongly disagree. Yeah. Taxpayers should not expect to prop up any theatres or museums that cannot survive on a commercial basis. This is an interesting question, because one of my biggest loves in life is live music, and live music venues have been suffering so bad over the pandemic. But should the taxpayer pay for that? Should I have to pay for people's business? I mean, take COVID out of the situation. I mean, COVID is a weird one, and I'm happy during COVID times to prop up these businesses with my tax money because it's strange circumstances. But taking COVID out of it, if a theatre or a museum is not doing well, then they need to change their business model up. I as a taxpayer, shouldn't be paying for that. So we've got to take COVID out of our head and think normally. So taxpayers should not be expected, strongly agree, yeah, not be expected. Schools should not make classroom attendance compulsory. That's a weird question. Schools should not make classroom attendance compulsory. Well, I think classroom attendance should be compulsory because kids would never turn up because school sucks. Simon, how are they wording this? Schools should not make. So I disagree with that. Yeah. All people have their rights, but it is better for all of us that different sorts of people should keep to their own kind. Oh, shut up. All people have their rights, but it is better. Strongly disagree. What are you talking about, you idiots? Stick to their own kind. Such a weird way of wording that. Good parents sometimes have to spank their children. Strongly disagree. I don't see how it's ever any good. And I still think that it's absolutely insane that the only person that you can legally hit in this society is a child. Doesn't make any sense at all. If I hit some random person in the street, I'm going to jail for assault. But I can quite happily hit my 5-year-old. Nonsense. I don't see how it's ever any good. It's natural for children to keep some secrets from their parents. Yeah, sure. Strongly agree with that. Teenagers growing up, isn't it? Possessing marijuana for personal use should not be a criminal offence. Okay, this is my sort of question. I would legalise all drugs tomorrow. Get that criminal market away from the criminals, get it taxed, regulated, and pump it into the economy. So, possessing marijuana for personal use should not be a criminal offence. Strongly agree. I need like an extra, like super duper agree because I want everything legal. The prime function of schooling should be to equip the future generation to find jobs. That's a part of it. I don't think it's all of it though. It's a very strong part of it. But history, geography, even language lessons. They're all life lessons. They're not to gear you up to get a job. You don't need history unless you're going to be a history teacher or something. So prime function of schooling should be to equip. No, so I strongly disagree with that. People with serious inheritable disabilities should not be allowed to reproduce. Fucking stupid question. I don't know. I mean, if they're definitely going to pass on some quite nasty disability to their kids, it's probably not the greatest thing. But I'd never ever want a society that doesn't tell any individual not to reproduce. That's their right as a human being. So no, definitely not. People with serious inheritable disabilities should not be allowed. Strongly disagree. The most important thing for children to learn is to accept discipline. It's a good lesson to learn, but it's not the most important thing. No, strongly disagree. There are no savage and civilized peoples. There are only different cultures. That's a weird question, isn't it? There are no savage and civilized. I mean, there's savage people out there, and there's savage tribes of people. There's It's such a weird question. I don't really know how there are only different cultures. It doesn't really explain the question that well, does it? Because, I mean, are you talking about races of people? In which case, no, you're talking rubbish. Or are you talking about gangs? I mean, if I'm the Cribs in LA ghettos or something, there are no savage and civilized peoples. When it says peoples, that's so vague. So vague. I really don't know how to answer that. I mean, I guess we'll just take it as races. There are only different cultures. There are no savage races. So I'm substituting that peoples for races because I don't really know what else that can be. So there are no savage races. So I strongly agree with that. Those who are able to work and refuse the opportunity should not expect social support. Strongly agree with that. I'm all for the support for people that can't work and the benefit system, and I think that it's been slashed to shit over the last 10 years in this country, and it's an absolute disgrace. But basically, what this question is saying is that if you're an able-bodied person to work and you refuse that work, you should not expect support. So, yeah, strongly agree with that. If you're quite able to work, you should work. You shouldn't be taking my tax money. When you are troubled, it's better not to think about it, but to keep busy with more cheerful things. How is this politics? I don't know how this question is politics, but I guess I'll answer it the best that I can. When you are troubled, it's better not to think, well, yeah, I guess so. I mean, I guess what they're saying, when you're troubled, um, does it mean try and forget about it? Because that won't happen. I mean, if you're really depressed, you need to seek help. Or does it mean if you're troubled, try and do things that, like exercise or meditation or things that are going to make you feel better? Um, I guess I'll go with agree. I'm just taking that as is if you're depressed, it's good to do things, to see people that you enjoy the company of, and to exercise. I'll just take it as that. So I'll go for agree. First generation immigrants can never be fully integrated with their new country. Bollocks. Disagree. What's good for the most successful corporations is always ultimately good for all of us. No. What's good for the most successful corporations? So when Apple is doing great, is it ultimately good for all of us? Yes, we get some great technology, but is it good for all of us? It's saying all of us. I think it's good for some of us. Some of us are reaping the rewards of the new iPhone, but some of us are always are stuck in a Apple warehouse in China working 24 hours a day. So no, I strongly disagree with that. No broadcasting institution, however independent its content, should receive public funding. Okay, so that's totally about the BBC. No broadcasting institution, however independent its content, should receive. So no, it shouldn't. Oh, I get confused with these no's in the. So what am I answering? So should no broad. Okay, so it's saying it shouldn't. So I strongly agree with that. These double meanings in these questions can get quite confusing sometimes. Our civil liberties are being excessively curbed in the name of counterterrorism. Okay, so we're talking about, are we being spied on? Is it good that we're being spied on? No. Is it too far? That's basically what it's saying. I mean, we all want terrorists spied on, but we don't want what has happened is basically that being abused to take our information and sell it on to advertising companies and such, which happens. So our civil liberties are being excessively curbed in the name of counterterrorism. So I'm going to agree with that. Although how I feel that we should have the technology there to stop terrorism and things like that is totally being abused, and it's not what it's about anymore. So I'll agree with that. A significant advantage of a one-party state is that it avoids all the arguments that delay progress in a democratic political system. Well, yeah, but you asking if I agree with that or not? If I agree with a one-party system? I mean, it's an advantage because, yeah, of course. Okay, right, I get it now. They're saying, do I think that it's an advantage, even though it's just one person's opinion? So a significant advantage of a one-party state is that it avoids all the arguments that delay progress. I mean, that is an advantage. If you've got a good idea, you can get it done straight away. So it is an advantage. That's what the question is. So, yeah, strongly agree. Although the electronic age makes official surveillance easier, only wrongdoers need to be worried. Okay, right. Yeah, this is a funny question. This is like one of those questions where should everyone be implanted with a chip, so we know if anyone's committed any crime? No. Although the electronic age makes official surveillance easier, only wrongdoers need. No, we all need to worry. So strongly disagree with that. The death penalty should be an option for the most serious crimes. Should be an option. The death penalty should be an option for the most serious crimes. I'm not down with the death penalty, but the thing is, the other option is life imprisonment at the taxpayer's expense. I've never ever been completely sold on one side of the argument with this. Someone that argues really strongly on one side will get me, and then if someone argues seriously on the other side, they'll get me as well. I think I probably more slightly lean to not the death penalty. I mean, if we really sort out our prison systems, and like I said before, with my drug policies, I wouldn't have any drug users or anything like that in prison, so that allows more money for serious offenders. So I'm going to lean towards keeping them in prison rather than the death penalty. So the death penalty should be an option. So no, I disagree with that, but just slightly disagree. In a civilized society, one must always have people above to obey and people below to command. Strongly disagree. Obey. Abstract art that doesn't represent anything should be considered art at all. What the hell? No. What do they say? Art is in the eye of the beholder. So, yeah, strongly disagree with that. In criminal justice, punishment should be more important than rehabilitation. Strongly disagree with that. No, rehabilitation is much more important. It is a waste of time to try to rehabilitate some criminals. I strongly agree with that. I mean, mass murderers, mass rapists, you can't rehabilitate these people, but the majority of criminals you can. The business person and the manufacturer are more important than the writer and the artist. Strongly disagree. No. Mothers may have carers, but their first duty is to be homemakers. Mothers may have carers, but their first duty is to be homemakers. And when they say homemakers, they mean housewife, right? Yeah, strongly disagree. Multinational companies are unethically exploiting the plant genetic resources. I mean, if they take out the plant genetic and just said resources, I guess I'd agree with it, but I don't really know what that plant genetic means. I mean, a lot of multinational companies are just exploiting resources in developing countries, so I'll strongly agree with that. But I don't know what this plant, maybe someone can mention what this plant genetic means. Making peace with the establishment is an important aspect of maturity. Making peace with the establishment, so bending to their will, is an important aspect of maturity. No, I disagree with that. Do I strongly disagree? I guess I just disagree. Okay. Astrology accurately explains many things. Bullshit. You cannot be moral without being religious. Bullshit. Charity is better than social security as a means of helping the genuinely disadvantaged. Right, so should we have charity or should we have social security for the poorest? No, I'm with the social security. Charity is fantastic, and I've met some amazing people down at the food banks, at the local food bank in my area, since austerity hit 10 years ago with the Tory government. But we need to be helping these people as a state. Charity, you can't always rely on charity because the people with money in this society will suddenly find themselves needing charity, and it can't always be there. So charity is better. Okay, so I strongly disagree. It's not better. Some people are naturally unlucky. Bollocks. It is important that my child's school instills religious values. Bollocks. Sex outside marriage is usually immoral. It's up to you. Strongly disagree. You do whatever the hell you want. A same-sex couple in a stable, loving relationship should not be excluded from the possibility of having child adoption. Should not be excluded. So, strongly agree. A loving, healthy, good same-sex relationship is much better for a child than a disorganised heterosexual one. Pornography depicts consenting adults should be legal for adult population. Strongly agree. Yeah, it should be legal. However, I do think that pornography has a massive damaging effect on men, especially now with the internet age. The access to it is ruining people, and they're getting addicted to it with things like OnlyFans and stuff like that. However, I totally disagree with it, and I think it's bad, the same as everything. I don't think it should be illegal, same as gambling, drugs, any of that sort of stuff. I can't stand it. I don't think it's good for society. But by banning it, all you do is push it underground and give criminals lots of money. What goes on in private bedroom between consenting adults is no business of the states. Strongly agree. Well, I mean, how far are you going? Killing each other in the privacy of your bedroom is not good. It's not good. But I'm assuming they mean just sex. No one can feel naturally homosexual. Bollocks. Of course they can feel naturally. There's no other way to feel homosexual than naturally homosexual. Strongly disagree. These days, openness about sex has gone too far. Openness about sex is always good. Not being open about sex is always bad. These days, openness about sex has gone too far. Strongly disagree. Right, I think we're at the end. So let's see. Where do you think? Where do you think I am? Do you think I think I've got to be left-leaning, whether I'm a libertarian or a communist. Let's have a look. Let's see what we've got. Okay. Right, okay, so pretty centre. I was expecting to be pretty centre. I'm not too far out this way. But I'm a little bit more like a communist than a libertarian. So basically that means I'm pretty much down the centre, but I prefer a little bit more control from the government when it comes to regulation. I don't want free market capitalism. But this left libertarian, I still don't understand fully. I'd love to hear someone give me an example of a left-leaning libertarian leader, because I am a bit confused. But yeah, that's where I expect it. I mean, that area there is the sort of government that I'm yearning for. I guess it's kind of that Scandinavian model where it's a capitalist society, but we do have high taxes, and we look after our poor and vulnerable, and the state has a lot to say in what's going on, but we're a capitalist free society, so that seems right. That seems me. Let me know your thoughts, guys. Have you taken the test? Where have you landed? Is this the most common area for my viewers? It'd be interesting to see the demographic of my viewers to see where you are, but yeah, it's a bit of fun. I mean, don't take it too seriously, but I mean, it seems quite accurate for me. I guess if I was at the start of the test, I should have done that actually at the start, just plonked where I thought I was going to be and see where it is. So yeah, great. Thanks for watching, guys. As always, take care. Till next time.